Pyeongchang Games will be amazing despite slow ticket sales. New York, with more news of slow ticket sales and questions about security on the Korean peninsula, athletes could be competing in front of sparse crowds in Pyeongchang next year. But that doesn't dim the anticipation and excitement athletes are expressing now that the Olympics are 99 days away and the Paralympics will begin March 8. Officials of the Pyeongchang Organizing Committee said last week that 4.4% of the available Paralympic tickets have sold as of October 24. For the Olympics, nearly 32% of available tickets have sold. Snowboarder Amy Purdy, who won bronze in Sochi in 2014, says in her experience South Koreans are enthusiastic about Paralympic sport. She competed at the Pyeongchang venue in March and won 2 bronze medals. Just being an athlete, my job is to do the best that I can in competition and when it matters most, said Purdy, who is part of Team Bridgestone leading up to the Paralympics. I honestly don't think about who's watching, who's not watching. There could be 5 people watching or 5 million people watching, and it's all the same for me. Certainly times are interesting right now, and maybe as things smooth out a little bit we'll start to see those ticket sales go up more. But either way our sports are on TV, they're on NBC. The rest of the world can watch. I think a lot of people will be watching. More, Meb Keflazaye returns to New York for one last marathon. More, 2 Russian skiers banned from Olympics for life over Sochi doping. More, 7 athletes you need to know before Pyeongchang Winter Games. The International Paralympic Committee is banking that there will be fans watching, but has asked Korean officials to ramp up their promotion of the games. In a statement released to USA Today Sports, Craig Spence, IPC Media and Communications Director, said the IPC has been working with the organizing committee and local and national government to raise awareness of the games. For the last 2 years we have been stressing to the organizing committee the absolute need to invest significantly more time and energy into promoting the Paralympics, a message our President Andrew Parsons reiterated to the Korean President Moon Jae-in only last month, Pence said. We are optimistic these calls will not fall on deaf ears, and the organizing committee will act to engage the Korean public in the games. It's only natural that athletes are more concerned with their own training and making the team, rather than worrying about issues such as ticket sales. Sled hockey player Rico Roman, a 2014 Paralympic gold medalist, recalls that he heard the same concerns before the Sochi Games. I'm hopeful that they'll pick up and that the games will be just as amazing as they always are, said Roman, who is partnering with Hershey's as an athlete ambassador. There was a lot of talk, same with 2014, that there was a lot going on. But there was 7,000 people there, he said of the USA's gold medal game against Russia in 2014. It felt like it was sold out. I didn't think there was any empty seats there. I feel like it's going to be the same for these games. It's going to be a lot of fun. U.S. Olympic Committee CEO Scott Blackmun says there have been no updates in his discussions with the State Department regarding security in South Korea. They've been pretty consistent in their advice to us. They have not put travel advisories into effect, he said Wednesday. It's business as usual for them. On the Korean peninsula, they haven't seen anything peculiar or unusual that gives them reason for pause. The things that we are concerned about from that standpoint are really things outside of our control. In Rio we worried about how do we protect our athletes when they're not at the village or when they're out and about. In Pyeongchang, those kinds of risks are very, very low. We're obviously concerned about global tensions, but that's not anything that we can really weigh into or have an impact on. When asked about evacuation plans, which British Olympic officials have said they're planning for in Pyeongchang, but hope they won't have to implement, Blackmun said it's difficult to plan in advance for the unexpected. If there's an incident you figure out what's our best options for taking care of our delegation, our athletes at the time, he said. All options are on the table at that time, but you can't really have a plan to evacuate from this point or that point in the future, because you don't know what the situation is going to be at the time. Contributing, Nancy Armour, Rachel is on.